And I always say investments are not hard anymore. We've made it really easy. Mm-hmm. What's hard is figuring out how to take money out of my paycheck to create a bucket for me to be able to look
long term.
Right.
Yeah.
And still do the things I want to do every day.
Yeah. Amy Koch, Senior Vice President, Duncan Williams, Asset Management, Financial Advisor, specializing in 401k plans.
I do.
Got all that right. Now, you've got some acronyms behind your name and your email. You want to tell me what those are?
If I can remember what they stand for. I'm a CRPS. That's a Certified Retirement Plan Specialist.
Okay.
And a CPFA, Certified, what's CP? Pension Financial. It's not advisor.
So they just give you these letters?
No, you have to take tests.
Did you have to do something for them?
You take tests and you have to go and you have to do CE credit to keep them.
You have to keep them? Okay.
Yeah. So the CPFA is more of the nerdy one. That's more, that's like.
Because you kind of started in the compliance and background of 401k plans, right?
I hung out with a lot of actuaries.
Okay. Well, that sounds real fun.
Right.
But to kind of jump in this, so you are a 401k expert. Your friend, we're a client of yours.
Yep.
I don't know if that has to be disclosed or not, but we are a client of yours.
Yeah, I have you listed as a reference on stuff.
You're a referral partner. You've been great to us, helping us in our business, and we certainly appreciate it. You've been named one of the top women in 401k plans or advisory, right? But you started financing tractors, and I'm using tractors as a general term. How in the world did you get from financing tractors to helping businesses implement and manage 401k plans?
So I did financing, so it was still using like what my degree was in.
Okay.
So, but one, it was I was doing that and I was bartending at the same time. So basically, and then I really like sales too. So I needed let's be honest, I wanted to make more money.
Sure.
I like to make money. So this friend of mine was like, hey, there's this job and you know a little bit about like computer coding stuff, whatever, and you're good at math. Okay. So I took the job, kept bartending on the weekends because I like to make money. Yeah. And it was good connections.
Sure. Yeah.
But then I learned about how much I really liked 401k plans. So it was a subsidiary of at the time NBC, which eventually became SunTrust, right? Which eventually they sold that division off and it became Mass Mutual. Okay. I left right before that happened. But I just kept going. I just kept learning more and more and more. I worked for an actuary for a few years. And then I was on the side of the business where I called on financial advisors and helped them support their business. And I realized if I really wanted to like knock it out of the park, I needed to do what they were doing because I could. Yeah. And there's not a lot of women that do it. Yeah. So that's kind of how that evolved.
Wow. So you really started with that. So from taking those kind of skills, though, I mean, it is all sales, right?
Yep.
And even some of your bartending skills, I'm sure.
That is sales.
Translated. Yeah. I had a good friend tell me one time that I think he was waiting tables, and he said it was some of the best training that he ever got, and just of how to deal with people. Yeah. You know, and I'm sure you had a similar experience with that, and it kind of translates into the actual business world.
It did. And if you're going to be in sales, you have to sell something. I don't care what first, like before you want to be any kind of a consultant or do like what we do. Yeah. Because it is sale. What you do is the same
selling
thing.
A lot. You're selling products and services, but you're selling trust.
Yourself.
Yeah. Right.
That's why I like bringing you in as an added value to my clients, because it's something that I'm not ever going to know what you do. Like, just like you don't want to, you just know that I'm going to take care of
partners. Exactly.
You know, I'm going to take care of the 401k plan and make sure you're doing the right things and keeping you compliant. But I know you're going to take care of my mortgage.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. And I think that's what makes good referral partnerships and good teams and things like that is you have your specialty, but it does come down to trust, because we're always an extension. If I refer someone to you or you refer someone to me, obviously those are extensions of us. And it's really nice to know that, you don't have to know everything, that you have a person for that. I got somebody who can help you with that. Yeah. And it just brings more value to your business and to your clients. Yeah. So moving from that, you worked your way up into, and getting into financial planning, into that side of the world. How did you start working directly with 401ks and businesses, and what type of sales, with more of a B2B sales, and we do a lot selling to realtors, it's a little different than consumer sales, obviously. Yeah. So how did you work through that world?
Kind of like I started more, I guess, on the institutional side, because it is. And the company that I work for specialized in large plans, so big companies, even so go so far as employees? Well, I had casinos in, Arizona.
Wow.
It was big. Wow. They were big plans.
Okay.
So I was the relationship manager in a sense. I supported the people who actually owned the relationships.
Okay.
So I learned how that worked, because you have to learn when you're dealing with a board or a committee. There's different types of things.
Of layers
and
of
I was young too. Okay. I mean, I was in my mid-20s and was surrounded by all these really smart people, and I just kind of soaked all of it in because I liked it. Yeah. Like, I love what I do. I would assume that you do too.
Sure.
Because you have made it
it's your life.
You're
it's
established.
Your
passion. I know you work all the time, because I know you're here on the weekends and stuff.
You see my car downstairs?
Yeah, I'm like, because I do it sometimes too. It's like, I know that we do what we do because we want to have a good life, but we do it because we also like what we do.
Sure.
I also get a great, what's the word? Like, I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping regular people. People that the only thing they have is or for a lot of people, the only thing they have is their home.
Yep.
And their 401k plan.
Yeah.
So
it's their two biggest assets.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about how do you balance that out? Both are an investment. Sometimes you have to stop doing one to fulfill the other bucket.
Right.
But I liked going out and talking to regular people.
Yeah.
And that, for me, I had to learn how to deal with individuals, high net wealth individuals, when I flipped over to that side 12 years ago. So I knew the 401k plan space really, really well. I joined my partner, who has been truly a mentor to me, and I look up to him in every regard. And he has always been like, you have to do the right thing, even if it costs me money. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't treat you like I would treat my mom, then you're in the wrong business. Right. Especially being in the role of being a fiduciary, which you're not so much a fiduciary, are you?
Technically. No, not technically. No. But
as a real estate agent?
In some senses, there are some fiduciary responsibilities on both of our world, whether it's real estate or mortgage, but not in the technical aspect of what you guys deal with FINRA and some of the other regulatory bodies. But your point is well taken. And I was talking to a good realtor yesterday, talking about the same thing of not every deal is financially a home run. There are some deals potentially could be even losses for some odd circumstance. But when you find yourself in those scenarios, the default has to be what is best for my client.
Right.
And obviously we're running businesses. We're doing things that, here to make money for both ourselves and our companies. But doing the right thing is the right investment in terms for the business. It does pay off. And
down the road, right?
It does. And we've all had circumstances where we've had to make that choice, but it is an easy choice. It's not a difficult challenge when you put your client first.
And that is the biggest thing. So when my mom retired, and think about, I covered like 4 states.
Yeah.
So I talked to financial advisors when I was in a different role. There she is.
Come on in.
Hi, friend.
Gracie Chapman, Local Mortgage.
She's a little rock star, smart, like honor roll on all the things. Yes.
Yeah.
But like that whole thing, when my mom retired from St. Jude, I knew all these different advisors, and I picked Walker for my mother to go to because I knew his character was different than so many of the other ones. That was who I wanted to be. So I wanted, and you know
had
what?
Alignment with him in terms of your core values, which makes things easier. When things get hard, it's really nice to have that type of alignment to come back with in those business relationships.
And somebody to go to when you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But also, there have been times where we technically didn't do anything wrong.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
From an ethical perspective, but because we care, we would make the correction and eat it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Yeah.
Even though we didn't really do anything, but in order to maintain,
things happen. It's not always somebody's fault even.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a mistake, or there might be, things that happen sometimes, but
like saying my name wrong.
Saying your name wrong. Typing your name wrong. I for anybody listening to this, I type how I talk. And we'll kind of cut that out because far too many people are going to get a joke on that. So I think it is important. So with doing the right thing, and it's a really good piece of advice, and you talk about the mentorship, about how you guys have a ton of young new advisors, and setting that standard at Duncan Williams, where you guys are a Memphis institution, and you certainly a great reputation as a firm. But as you bring in new people, I'm sure that's important for people our age and older to pass that down to the new blood, so to speak.
So it's been a very big learning curve for me because I'm not used to being around. I don't even know what that generation's called. I guess, are they millennials? When you're what are the 23 and 24-year-olds now?
I don't know. I forget the cutoff, but
I don't know. All I'm saying is, if I have said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. We have to do the right thing by the client. What is the right thing to do? Like, do the right thing. And it's like they are starting to repeat it, but it's also been. It's so weird because it was like I was one of the youngest ones at the firm I came from to now being like the 4th or 5th
you're in a leadership
oldest
position,
one.
and yeah.
But I was at the old firm, I was still the only one that knew the 401. That is like a niche.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, what you do is definitely a niche too. So like I found my little space, and when you hone in and find your space, and you really want to be the best at it, then that's when you really start to. Yeah.
So you can really excel, and you get into that mode, especially with, doing it for as long as, I'm coming, next year's 25 years for me.
I'm 22.
22. So you're right in that same range, and you've done it so long. You've seen a lot of different things. You've seen changes in the market, which is a good segue to my next question. So, tell us what's going to happen in the market. Are we going to hit 10% this year? Do you get that question a lot?
No.
Do you get that question?
I'm like, if I knew that, I'd be on my island. Like,
I get the question of what are interest rates going to do?
Who knows?
Thing, right?
I think right now, everything is uncertain.
There's a lot of uncertainty. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what are mortgage rates going to do?
Well, I don't know. It is interesting. We have seen a slide to the low 6s, kind of on a typical 30-year fixed. They're anticipating a September Fed cut, and of course the bond market's moving in advance of that. What I find is interesting is this year, and I think this will be a good segue into maybe some of the things that you preach about investing into a 401k, and even over the last couple of years, it's not just 2025, but we've seen we've had market turmoil, basically. Let's call it turmoil, or whatever word you want to use. We've had a lot of new stuff. We've had inflation that my generation, essentially, our generation and younger, certainly has never seen in their lifetime. I know the 70s, we certainly got through some inflationary periods there, but we have not seen that at a significant scale.
Yeah.
And the impact that inflation can have on just the global and economies. We've never seen that in my generation and younger. We've never seen a rapid cost in goods like we've seen over the last couple of years coming out of the pandemic. A little bit here and there with gas prices and some things that were isolated, but not across the board. So I think we've seen a lot of new, and then we've got tariffs, and so I think that's an interesting piece of is that going to work or not? And I don't know that anybody knows, and I think that it's looking good. I mean, we had a surplus, which is always good, and it's the first time we've had a surplus in a long time. But there was a lot of worry, and I guess there still is what kind of effect that has on the market and inflation.
I think once the price of things go up, they stay there.
Yeah.
So I think it hurts. Maybe not folks that are in more professional environment. I think it hurts the folks that are
people in the lower to middle income,
are the ones that are going to probably suffer.
Certainly hurt. So there's less disposable income. But I think it's a thing that we talk about a lot. Is you mentioned once the prices of goods and especially assets goes up, there's not, unless there's some significant event that causes some kind of cratering or crash, I don't see that real estate values are going to come back down. I hear people, and we talk to them all the time.
I hope you're right.
No, I don't, and I don't think there is any reason. I mean, the market's been very resilient. We've seen a little bit. We've seen a little bobble this year in terms of prices, but interest rates went from 3 to 7 in 2023. Pushed 8 in some cases. Have stayed elevated. And I guess that's a little bit from perspective. We're now into the 6s, which historically is certainly not a high interest rate. 6s, we should have a healthy real estate market with long-term fixed rates in and around the 6s. We should have a healthy market. And I think that we still can. But the value of the assets has gotten more expensive. The stock prices, have gotten more expensive. Value of assets have gone up.
You told me when we talked a while ago, when interest rates were going up in the mortgage market, and you were like, I was like, okay, we had a conversation about what do you tell a young person who's thinking about buying a house in the environment that we're in, and it stuck with me. When I bought my first house, my interest rate was around 7.5%. I was 29 years old.
Yeah, okay.
That would have been in like 2004-ish.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
that sounds about right.
So, and as interest rates dropped, I refinanced down. But you were like, you can always refinance, one. And two, because interest rates have gone up, it's brought some of the pricing of that. We were in like a bidding situation at that point where now you're paying a premium.
Yeah, when rates drop to the low levels, I mean, it fueled a price increase, and most people know that. I mean, and people overpaying for the house, and you can never renegotiate that. You can always improve. Same guy I was talking to yesterday said it better than I've ever heard it said, is the house will only get less expensive from here. And that kind of was a great way to say it. When you're ready to buy, and I think that's certainly the caveat to this conversation. You do need to be ready to buy, financially in a place to where, it's time to own a home. But when you are to that point, it is time to buy. Yeah. And trying to time that with finding a deal or finding where the low point of a interest rate cycle If you do, that is dumb luck. I mean, for most people, maybe, there's people smarter than I am, but I don't know how to predict rates in that kind of a short window, and I don't know that anybody does.
No, and you're right. Like, dumb luck is what so if you're going to try and time the market in general, you're going to get it right once.
I'm sure you have those similar conversations.
And you're never going to get it right again.
Right.
Like, there's no way to do that. Yeah. There's not a good or a bad time, It comes back, in my world, it comes back down to proper asset allocation, dependent upon where you are in life, what's your time frame, your tolerance, all of those things, right? Like, but trying to time the market in general with anything, even buying a house.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who knows?
You don't know.
But I do talk about that when I'm educating participants in my 401k plans, because, I'm speaking to like a lot of times swath of people, like, and it could be anybody, anywhere from like a vice president or controller in the room to the person that is
the rank and file employee.
Correct. Somebody that's, and you have to be able to make it meaningful for everybody. So you have to talk about it in big terms, or high level, I guess. And I always say, investments are not hard anymore. We've made it really easy. What's hard is figuring out how to take money out of my paycheck to create a bucket for me to be able to look
long term.
Right.
Yeah. And
still do the things I want to do every day.
Yeah. Well, it's a great segue into some of the conversations and things that we've worked on. And, if you do have young people or anybody in a participant plan, I know that you get the question, and one reason we've partnered up, and I tell this quick story, that when we first kind of partnered up and you had said, hey, I want you to come talk to XYZ company with me. And I'm like, sure, I'd love to. And I kind of said, and I asked you, I said, hey, what's in this for you? And to your point about circling back to doing the right thing, you said, Travis, I have got, especially young people, who are trying to determine how much to invest in their 401k plan and how to balance that, as you said a minute ago, about saving for big life events, aka buying a house. And while that contribution to the 401k plan or the lack of contribution to the 401k plan, at least temporarily, while they are diverting more money to a traditional savings account or a place where they're going to stockpile money for down payment on a house or what have you, doesn't necessarily benefit you. But you said it helps me show my clients that I'm willing to help them.
Yep.
And I think and I knew that, and it was just a really good reminder, and it's nice to see things like that and remind myself of doing, when I have the opportunity to do similar things, is to look at the greater picture, look at the big picture, and what is best for my client, and in your case, companies, and how that, what I've seen you do is not only sell the plan, but work that all the way down to the individual who's contributing, the individual employee that's contributing into the plan. And I think that is something that is admirable, and something from your services that you really should, that people should know. When they hire you, you're not just selling a plan, you're not just, signing the paperwork and shifting the money into the accounts. You're very hands-on with the participants.
And I know when you were like, why are you letting me do this or go talk to your clients? One, I knew you weren't going to embarrass me. Right? Like, I knew you're not a buffoon. So there's that. So I'm like, I know I can take you in front of my clients and not have to worry about.
Time will tell.
Like, I can put you in front of a client. There's a thing, like, there's people that you want to put in front of a client, and there's people that you won't put in front of a client. Yeah. You and your family, which it's Duncan Williams is kind of like that too. Like, we're very tight. I wasn't worried about putting you in front of my clients.
Well, good. I appreciate that.
But you make me look good. I don't really have to do anything but show up. But now there are times where, like, yes, you know what shocked me more than anything about but we've only done 2 meetings together, but I have another one that we need to do. I got to get it.
That's why I invited you on the podcast. I'm kind of ready for it.
I know. I got another one, but everybody's on board with it. All my clients that I've said, good. I want to be able to offer this to you. Now it's just like a matter of organizing it and getting it together. But I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Just edit.
Huh?
We'll just edit this. Just do a good pause and take a
menopause.
We'll not edit that.
Like it's called menopause brain. No, but I'm not embarrassed to like take you into a client, put you in front of my people, because it's something that I don't know enough about. But I was shocked about the credit. People asking all the questions about credit.
We'll start there and we'll segue into that. That
was crazy. Like the first meeting we did with all those young attorneys, how many questions about credit and how much time we spent on credit was crazy.
A lot. I think people don't know and they look for trusted advisors, and that's why I think anybody, teaming with other professionals and presenting a team, whether it's real estate and mortgage or mortgage and 401k, and I'm sure the other industries, there's plenty of other examples, but it gives them, I think, consumers or home buyers or employees of someone looking to contribute into a 401k, they're looking for people they can trust. They're looking for people that they can talk to, that are easy to talk to, that will answer their questions in a way that they understand and feel good about the choices they're making. And I think that's, the same thing with the 401k. If I'm putting X amount of dollars into my 401k plan, do I feel good? Is it the right move?
Yeah.
And they always have those questions.
But also, when I have people that come to me and ask me questions about the home thing, and I'm like, hey, this is the guy you call. The first thing they ask me, is it a real estate agent? I'm like, no, he owns a mortgage company. He's not a real estate agent. You need to, you need to know.
Are they afraid that somebody's going to sell them? It's a hard sell
I guess,
kind of thing,
but
maybe?
I'm like, no, he owns a mortgage company and he's my client and I know he's going to do the right thing. But the first thing you need to do is figure that piece out first.
I agree. And there's a lot of real estate agents that also agree with you as well.
Oh, good.
They really are. There's no sense, even from their time, of showing people homes or trying to sell something that, even if they can qualify, do they, in this day and age, do they want to pay for it? Do they want to pay for it? And I think that's a big part of like our market that's going on right now is and somebody told me the other day, it was a staggering number of pre-approved clients for mortgages that have not bought yet. Yes, that were just on the fence. And they're just waiting. They're waiting for rates to come down. They're waiting for prices to come down, which, again, don't really know if that's going to happen. But they're on the fence. They're struggling with home affordability. And, that is, they want to buy a house. They can buy a house. But they're struggling is, back to the timing question, is it the right time to do it? I don't want to make a mistake. I would say yes, it is the right time. I think that history kind of has borne that out.
Yeah.
But and probably very similar in your world of, you've got a 25-year-old who, let's say, is coming into their profession and kind of segueing this back to your business, wondering, well, should I start contributing in the 401k plan? The answer is yes. Yes. Sooner the better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went to Gracie over there and went to the house and was like,
She did you get her fixed up?
You gotta do this. Good. Like, do it now while you can.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, even because there's maybe a point in time like where you have to stop.
You can always back off.
Yeah, you're gonna have to adjust and things shift and change in your life that you can't control. So you're gonna have things that happen.
But would you say getting money into the market sooner
yes.
The more money you can get into the market sooner, the better?
Obviously, yes. Time is your friend.
Right.
But a mortgage is a commitment.
It is.
So it's different.
It is.
But that's why we have to be able to pivot sometimes with our other savings. in order to be able to make an investment in something else that is an asset also. And like you said, the two biggest assets most people have are their home and their retirement account. And that's pretty much all they have.
Well, and a quick plug for anybody listening that might be thinking about in that spot to where thinking about, do I do a 401k? Do I save to buy a house? I think the answer is you need to do both. It's just a matter of what percentage is going towards which one. And if you're buying a home, there's plenty of programs now out there. And I think this is another, you mentioned educating on credit, is educating on down payment. There are programs now that, I mean, there are options to put 0% down.
Which is crazy. That was a thing when I was bought my first house.
Sometimes it may not be the best thing to do or the best mortgage program, but there are ways to put down 0. We have a 1% program right now for low to moderate income, families who are buying that can put down a 1%. The standard is 3% for a first time home buyer. If you have great credit, you only have to put down 3%. You don't have to put down 20. Back in the day, and I think there's still a conception that I've got to have this, large down payment. If you're buying a $300,000 house, 3%. It's $9,000. It may not take you that long to save $9,000. You can have the seller pay closing costs. I'm doing a whole plug here, but the seller can pay most of the closing cost, and they can get back then to contributing to the 401k once they've met that. So I think they think it's this big number that's going to take forever. It's really not.
So it's funny. I had a guy call this morning. You can borrow money if your 401k plan allows you to do so.
Yep.
For the primary purchase or the purchase of a primary residence, whatever. Yeah. And the guy did.
Okay.
And he is paying it back.
Yeah.
So
you're paying yourself back.
You're paying yourself back with interest.
Yeah.
And right now you're paying yourself back around 8.5%.
Okay.
It's that financially, it's not the greatest idea to do it, but that the provisions exist for a reason.
It allows you to do that.
Yeah. So there's I can't tell somebody today, don't take money out to buy a house and pay yourself back 8.5%. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense to me. You can do that.
Yeah.
But he was asking because he's leading the what do I do? And there's a way for him to continue.
You can continue that and not have to pay that back
with this specific company and plan by plan. You can. Okay. Yeah, he's able to do that.
Would you say that most plans, the majority of plans, allow for borrowing?
They do.
Yeah.
It in one way or another.
Okay.
Because honestly, if you don't, especially the bigger you are, people are more reluctant to put money in if they don't see a way, an emergency
to get it out.
Yeah. So they get it. The provisions exist for a reason, but yeah. So
if you're a small company and you've got like us, and we've done the same thing, and not too many years ago, designing a 401k plan, we do allow for it.
You do. Okay.
In a way that you think about those, even if it's a little bit of administrative cost, which there's a little bit of administrative cost to those types of things, allowing employees, especially if you think you're going to grow quickly, and especially what maybe age demographic your employees are going to be, it is, especially on the younger employees, being able to get those dollars, because they're thinking, well, I'm 25, I'm putting this money away from until I'm 65.
Right.
And yes, I get it. It's the right thing to do. I'm going to need money at that point in time. It's all the things financially, it makes sense. But as you just said, how do I get my money out in the case of emergency? Or I'm going to buy a house and I've got, I can tap into that money even if at 8.5% paying myself back. Now you are pulling that money out of the market, so the interest that you pay would have to, I guess, essentially try to outrace any return on investment that you're losing by pulling that capital out of the market.
And that's an IRS rule.
Yeah.
You have to pay yourself back with some kind of interest, like your money would have made had you left it in the market.
Right.
Right now, is the market? You asked me about market being up 10%. I have no idea what's going to be I have no clue, but yeah, arguably paying yourself 3% versus right now the 8.5%. If you've got to take it out because you're paying yourself back a pretty hefty chunk. Now, technically you'd be taxed on that money twice because it's after tax dollars
that you're paying it back.
But again, the provisions exist for a reason, and it's because people need to be able to access it in certain situations. And the purchase of a primary residence is the number one thing that I see. Like people calling me, yes, they want to be able to access it to. I have people wanting to buy, land to be able to build a house on.
Sure.
Like all the things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
they're looking for shelter, and their other biggest asset. They're looking to move
and
those
it's
dollars.
Mostly that for that reason is to buy a house.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that.
So say that tax consequences again, because I think that made sense. But just to make sure that comes through clearly,
so
obviously your pre-tax dollars are going in to your 401k.
Correct.
When you pull them out and take a loan, you're going to pay the loan back with after tax dollars. So that money has been taxed, and then you're going to get taxed again when you remove it withdrawals at retirement. Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah.
But that's the issue.
But it is a way that you can, if that, I mean, obviously saving for a down payment would be the best way, right?
Yes.
Just putting money into a high yield savings, and allocating those dollars out of your financial budget and still maybe contributing enough to the 401k to get the match.
Whatever that is.
Right.
Yes. But don't y'all look at your people's 401k when you're evaluating them for a loan?
Sure, it's an asset. It is an asset that they can use. We do have to document terms and conditions of withdrawal if they're going to be using those funds, if they're going to be withdrawing, or if they're going to get a 401k loan. But a 401k loan, that loan repayment does not count against them in their debt to income ratio.
You can also take it as a hardship, where you actually take it, and you don't pay it back.
Yeah.
And use it for, And
you're going to pay a 10% penalty on that?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if there's so much legislative stuff going on.
Yeah. What is on the horizon?
Crazy things like, okay, so I turned 50 this year, so I could put my catch-up contribution in, right? If you make more than $145,000 in FICA wages, W-2 wages, not K-1. Okay. So you're a W-2 employee, and you make more than 145 at the end of 2025.
Okay.
Then in plan year 2026, your catch-up contribution has to be made in Roth.
Okay. So that shifted to a Roth instead of a 401k.
Correct.
Okay.
So no more. But if you're K-1, which we thought the IRS made a mistake on this, but they did not, for whatever reason, you can still do yours pre-tax.
Okay. Wow.
If you make less than that amount, you have the choice of making it either Roth or pre-tax.
Okay.
Which, whatever.
So your pre-tax dollars could be diverted into a 401k.
But your catch-up.
So that is if your compensation is paid through a K-1, if you're a shareholder,
yes,
any kind of distribution, that can be diverted. You can opt basically to divert that money either way.
Yeah.
But if you are just a standard W-2 employee, then that catch-up has to go to a Roth.
Yes.
Okay.
So next year, I will be making my catch-up contribution as a Roth.
Okay.
So that is a revenue raiser. I go in October to this big kind of nerdy conference with all the actuaries and the ERISA attorneys and all the what we call the compliance folks.
Right. Yeah. Compliance folks is probably the best term, not the nerdy guys. Yeah.
I'm cool with the nerds. Like I like them. And I'm a little nerdy.
Yeah.
I mean, you are too.
Thank you.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
But like that, I don't know what there is coming. But all I know is that this bucket of money, this giant, it's trillions of dollars in the retirement space, scares the hell out of me. Because
it's coming. It's going to be withdrawn.
Not just that, but like I don't know what their changes they're they could potentially do like this, making you make your catch up as a Roth. That is the government wants the money now.
Those are all after tax dollars.
So like it's a revenue raise to offset tax stuff. So like, and now I don't know if you saw that there's supposedly you're gonna be able to do private placement stuff in a retirement plan. I will never do that.
So explain that.
That's like a private equity type situation where in my world, you would need to be an accredited investor. You would have to pass some serious tests.
So I would be able to defer 401k or retirement money
into private equity
equity funds, and we could go into the next finding the next Uber or what have you.
So but that's not going to ever happen because I will never put that in your 401k plan.
It doesn't sound like a good idea for 401k.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you see, like they're starting to plug in to this space that has historically been
a very safe, very rigid.
Yes, but it's also now the biggest bucket of money that there is.
So from a demographic standpoint, we have a huge swath of our population, right, that is headed into retirement.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a pretty significant drawdown of those 401k assets, which will be taxed, which would be revenue for the government. But we're also speeding that along. I guess to kind of summarize this, we're also now moving back to the 50-year-old population, which that's trying to catch up, which is probably a very common thing, trying to catch up, diverting money into, or their catch-up money is going to be diverted into 401k, in which they're paying tax dollars on that in 2015. But the benefit is they would not pay
when they pull it out. And
2040 or whatever that
effective
would be.
This year, if you're 60, 61, 62, or 63, you can do a super catch-up.
Okay.
Which is $11,250. When you turn 64, it goes back down to whatever the catch-up limit is. This year, it's $7,500.
Why would it revert back?
Ask Congress.
Why would that revert back?
Ask Congress.
So you have the opportunity for a super catch-up at 61, 62, 63.
60.
Oh, 60, 61, 62.
63.
And 63.
It's if the year you turn 64, it goes back down.
That 1 year before, you're back to the regular limits.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other thing that's going to happen. I predict in 5 years that and this is a good thing. We want to keep the 401k world privatized. We do not want 13 states right now have mandatory IRAs.
Okay.
Where the government's saying there's all kinds of crazy stuff they're talking about doing. We just don't know how to make it actually operate from like a payroll and from your perspective as a business owner. There's all kinds of rules that would be very administratively burdened, particularly for whoever is doing your payroll. And the payroll companies aren't prepared for all of this. Yeah. So a lot of things have been pushed back, but just we're going to get to a point. They want
the money, but they don't know how to get the money
out of the thing. Yeah. Okay. But I also think that they're going to push every private entity or public for that matter to offer some type of retirement plan. And if you don't do it as an employer, the states are going to start taking it over.
So similar to 2008 with maybe health insurance, where we're going to move into a new world where we're going to
mandatory
federally mandate retirement plans as a benefit.
Social Security, I read this morning, 90th anniversary. So as part of FDR's 100-year plan, right? It was supposed to go away after 100. We were reasonably, we were all supposed to be able to take care of ourselves.
Which is a huge plug for your business, for anybody listening, and the contributions with that. You're relying on those monies that are years out. We know what our
I call it a promised benefit.
Yeah, the U.S. deficit is still at all-time highs, and if you're my daughter's age, if you're anyone even a little bit older than her, certainly making sure that you've got enough to take care of yourself without that promise of Social Security. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I think it's going to exist. I just don't think it's going to look like it does today.
Yeah, who knows?
But
who knows?
Again, another reason to diversify, and if you can, own real estate of some form.
Some other kind of hard assets.
Yeah.
What about crypto? How does that?
I don't know.
Do you know anything about it? Do you understand it?
Yeah, a little. I mean, it's a currency, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. There's an ETF that you can buy now. I bought some, $250 worth, and it is at zero now. So
you bought the wrong one.
Apparently, it took me like an hour and a half just to figure out how to open the darn wallet.
Yeah.
So like,
it's not easy to get money in and out of.
I don't know. Like I don't know. It's like I don't even know what to think about it. So if I don't understand it, then I can't sell it. And I'm certainly not going to recommend it. It's not appropriate for unless you're a sophisticated investor.
Do you think that we will head to a place where people can hold crypto in their 401k?
They already let you. Like
can?
Fidelity will let you.
Okay, I didn't know across the board. I don't think we're allowed to.
No.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't let you.
Okay.
Like I would say no to that because I'm a fiduciary, and God forbid somebody put 100% of their money in that, and that you work for, and the day before they retire, or that works for you, and they lose all their money. Like what? Yeah. No, I can't let that happen.
I certainly don't understand it well enough to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't, and I don't think most people do. Now, some really have taken advantage of it, and they have learned it just like anything else. And I think that they have a good understanding of it. And I'm a believer in it. I'm certainly at this point a believer that it is something, whether it's a great asset or not. And certainly, to your point about investing in private equity in your 401k or investing in a cryptocurrency, those probably are pretty similar risk models. Yeah. I'm sure someone a lot smarter than me would argue that or say something different.
Speculative,
but they're both speculative investments, and certainly want to keep that money. Invest in the crypto, invest in something speculative on the side if you have that disposable income. But it is certainly, I think, good financial responsibility to make sure your buckets of money are allocated for specific purposes and to make sure your investment strategies kind of match those goals.
And that's the thing is I'm named fiduciary on all of my plans. Right. So I have about 50 of them, and I have a responsibility that I couldn't, even if you were allowed, even if I was, or even if I wasn't a named fiduciary, I would still do the right thing because you're talking about people who they start doing it and they don't look at it again, and things happen, and you just
by the time they need that money, they don't realize it's not there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they're allocated incorrectly. I mean, I was around in 2008. I was in this business in 2008. Were you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I started in 2001, so we certainly saw the other side of real estate. Yeah.
So I'm like, if you didn't feel and live 2008, like that will make you think long and hard about, that's when we started making investments easier and more like autopilot type situation where you can put it in there and it's going to be managed for you until you get to retirement.
Specific investment. So is that what came about with kind of the robust planning that is available in the 401k plan, where it's not so individualized in terms of buying this stock, et cetera? Right. It's just more of the mutual funds and managed based on your targeted goals or targeted age, basically. I guess. Yeah.
Both.
That started in 08 and 09. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. There's some of them have been around longer than that, but that's kind of when people started thinking about. We started thinking we've got to make it a way to where it is like an autopilot for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
To protect it.
And if I always tell people, if you check out when I start talking about investments, pick the one based on your age and roll on.
Move on.
That's good.
Move on.
Yeah, it's okay.
Move on.
Because I know it's going to be managed appropriately.
So let's talk about a few other things too that you're involved in. Civitan.
I do that.
All right, tell me about that. I don't know that enough people know about that.
It's older than Rotary.
Yeah.
But it's kind of similar to Rotary.
It's a national organization. Right?
Yeah, it's based out of Birmingham. Originally, it was started and it's funny. Like a lot of my uncle, his dad was the chief of surgery at Baptist in the 60s. Okay. And my uncle can remember his dad being in the Memphis Civitan. Wow. And because it was a research institute based out of Birmingham, back then it was primarily research for Down syndrome.
Okay.
So if you think about it, makes sense. There'd be a bunch of doctors, right? Because they wanted to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. Now things have kind of shifted to more, not just Downs, but now we have autism. Yep. That has become a big piece of it. So a lot of but then you just have other disabilities across the board. So like SERVs, they work with from birth all the way through adulthood. Okay. Which will help find jobs and house them in the whole 9 yards. Where other organizations like Madonna, we were talking about, but so we raise money for special needs organizations, local organizations that are dependent upon funding. And
so the money that is raised here with the local Memphis chapter stays in Memphis. Here in Memphis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A big part of these conversations is our local supports local. Mm-hmm. And we're even calling this the Local Supports Local podcast. And it's our way for me and even our business to get involved with people like you, even though we have a relationship outside of this in terms of the business that we've done, and the business we'll do. But it's a way to also talk about things that are outside of that are things that we do most personally, things that I know that Duncan Williams that you guys do is just part of your community involvement, and it's this Local Supports Local initiative is our way of doing the same and supporting the people that kind of make our city great, and that do a lot of the work that's in the shadows, that there's a lot of really good things that go on in this city, and it's kind of our way to connect you and them, and to tell those stories. And so we will, when this is posted, what we are going to do is a fundraiser. And so we'll do a fundraiser for a period of time where we will ask your friends or people that listen to this and have an interest in that to help support that organization. Awesome. And we'll contribute a matching donation for that.
Oh, well, and that's awesome.
We'll try to do some good with this. And I think that is it's a great way to highlight some of the things that you're doing outside of work.
I'm gonna brag like we do. We track our volunteer hours. Yeah. At Duncan Williams, and I'm at 104, I think, so far this year, and that's probably not even all of them. But I think Duncan, over the last however long, they have a deal where they can give back, and we have hit $1 million and literally logged like thousands of hours of volunteer service. So they go. I don't always do it, but like once a quarter, they'll go actually boots on the ground to places and do support. Like it's a thing that people, they thought that our president said the other day, thought that it would people would be like not wanting to be a part of that because of it. But it actually is the opposite. Like we attract people that want to do and give back to the community. And that's what makes Memphis better, Well, and I think it's what makes your culture and your organization, even from a business owner, having that kind of similar buy-in of not just the business initiatives, but beyond that, and it's a culture. And I think that seeing those kind of things, and not for any other reason other than doing good. But when you look at it that from an outside lens, whether you're thinking about, putting your money with Duncan Williams or thinking about hiring Amy to set up your 401k plan, that you're dealing with people that are invested in our city. And they're invested in a way that it's not just it's money and time, and it's a community involvement that there's so many good. And I know you work with so many different businesses across the city. A lot.
And I think that being able to network that and have that, in a place where you're in the center of all of that. You're seeing what other people are doing. You're seeing what other businesses are doing. And
so many cool businesses that like people don't even know exist in this town. It's insane. Some of the stuff that comes out of Memphis that you would have no idea.
What's one of those things? What's one business that you think that I would be surprised at not having any idea who they are, what they do here in Memphis?
They make like clothing that's like fire resistant and safety gear.
Yeah.
And when the facility is like huge. It's massive and runs like 24/7, ships all over the world.
See, I've always wanted a 24/7 mortgage business.
Yeah, you probably already have that. I'm like,
but I've always wanted a true, and I don't.
You do, because that online thingy is so easy. Like people can do that whenever they want. They can go on and upload all their stuff. So technically you are.
You can do business with us any time of day.
Any time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so technically you're, yeah.
Yeah.
But this place is just nuts. Like it's like nothing I have ever seen. And then there's a 600,000 square foot not far from here in Mississippi where flower bulbs come out of. There's only 2 companies in the U.S. that distribute flower bulbs. Like when you go to Lowe's and you buy a bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know
they go around the scooter thingy in the warehouse thing with the little, what's that thing called? That what you see
forklift.
That you ride on. The police in downtown ride on.
The bird kind of. The thingy.
The thingy. But anyway, like it's crazy. Some of the stuff.
And they do that in the warehouse.
Oh yeah, because it's huge and it's refrigerated.
Oh wow!
It's like 600,000 square feet or something crazy.
Well, next time take me on a cool place. Not that we haven't gone to great places already, but that you get the opportunity to go to a cool warehouse. Just bring me along.
It's really interesting stuff.
I love like manufacturing. I've had the opportunity to go into. I've got good friends that have who runs a manufacturing facility, and I seem to go to it every year and talk to some of his employees.
Really?
And I'm just blown away. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
I know, it's crazy.
And I'm just like, this is the coolest place to work.
Yeah.
They don't think so. They just think it's work. But for me, it's just it's got so much going on, and the scale is massive.
Everybody just thinks of Memphis. They're like, okay, like FedEx and International Paper, but there's also really some other big, really fascinating companies that you probably
just
don't
would
know
never
about.
know. Well,
that were started here.
Hopefully, we'll get them on this show at some point. Okay.
Maybe I can help you.
Good.